No! Get back here! You little capacitor! Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go, you little bastard? Get the fuck back here. You're not leaving my board. No, not again. Not again. No, no, no. You're going on a MacBook. You're going on a MacBook. You're going to live on a MacBook for the rest of your life, capacitor. That's it. That's where you go. That's where you live. That's where you stay. Now fucking deal with it. That little capacitor did not want to be on a MacBook, and I wasn't hearing a goddamn word of it. You're going to live on that MacBook until the day you die. Rossman talking to MacBook components now sounds like Cuomo talking to New York citizens. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on a MacBook that the owner says after a spill that it shut down, and oh my god. Ew. Ew. Alright, I'll give you guys a view, a nice little overhead view. Oh, gross. Gross. Alright, take a look. What do you guys see? This is pretty gross. Alright, the cable is literally molded into the fucking connector. The cable is not going to come out of there. Alright, let's try to get everything else out first. What kind of liquid did you get on here? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everything is sticky. This is the stickiest crap I've gotten in a MacBook in a while. Like none of the connectors want to come off. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Yeah, so you got fan spin. This actually does turn on, which is impressive given how awful it looks. Let's just look at it under the microscope because you guys may not be able to tell what it is I'm saying looks awful. So let's get that picture over here so that you can all see. And I will give you a little bit of white balance just to be a nice guy. Just to be a nice guy. Let's tighten this up a little bit so that you can see. So this is the PP3V42 circuit. You've got a cap over here that looks pretty gross. This all looks pretty gross. Inrush resistors look pretty gross. That cap is nasty. Backlight fuse actually survived. This resistor could use a little bit more love over here. And this is the screen connector. Yes, I'm guessing this guy didn't have any image on his screen, or backlight actually. This may have actually turned on. Yeah, this connector looks nasty over here, but the thing, it turned on, it did work. In the beginning, Dennis, I was not able to use a gym until I made my own, so now I don't have to really care as much about it. The thing is, I lost a lot because I didn't work out for a good, let's see, end of March, April, May, June. So 3.5 months I didn't work out. I haven't gone 3 months without working out since I was 16 or 17. Given your recent round on insurance for business owners, do you get why so many people want single-payer health care in the U.S.? I get it, I really do. I think I would prefer if there's any way to go back to a system where health care is actually remotely affordable. Because right now we have this system, it kind of runs similar to a recording studio. So what recording studios used to do is they know that the record labels were always going to nickel and dime them and not pay. So what they would do is, well, let's say if they would jack up the rate to use the room to like $4,000 or $5,000 a day, some shit like that, and then the record label would not pay the bill for 6 months. One second, I just gotta. Yeah, I would prefer a return to the. So with the way recording studios kind of work is they know that the record label is going to rip them off incredibly. So, I mean, they know that the record label is never going to pay the bill on time, or they're going to nickel and dime them for every last thing. So to make up for the fact that the record label is not going to pay on time or nickel and dime them on every last thing, they just overcharge for everything. So, you know, a room where if you were just, you know, 23-year-olds, like a couple of 23-year-old kids with cash in your pocket, and you wanted to record your album in a day, maybe $1,000 to use the room. If you're a large record label, it might be $4,000 to use that room, because they know the record label is going to drive them crazy. And then it's kind of similar with insurance companies. So what happens is a normally priced thing will become really expensive because they know the insurance company is going to nickel and dime them and try to get out of paying. So what they do is they just raise the price of everything, knowing that they're going to nickel and dime them. But then the problem is that even if you're a normal person, the prices are still high. So with the recording studio, at the very least, you could go and say, listen, I'll pay you in cash up front for the day. Can I use the room? And they go, sure. You get a lower rate. Whereas here, if you go to the hospital and you say, listen, I don't have insurance, I'll just pay you in cash right now, there's no discount. So like when I got my concussion, for instance, I got taken to the hospital in an ambulance. I got driven from 12th Street to 27th Street on 1st Avenue. They gave me a drive of 15 blocks. That was about $900 or $1,000. I think that was actually about $1,100. So that was pretty much the most expensive Uber I've ever taken. Then I got into the hospital, and what they did is they wheeled me to a room, and they put a thingamajig to my head, and then they looked at what they saw on a screen, and that was about $4,500. So that plus I got a sandwich, which was a piece of bread, a piece of American cheese, and a cup of water that had a hair in it. I shit you not. Oh shit! I forgot to put my temperature back up. No wonder it's not melting. Anyway, so that was what I got. And I tried to work back and forth with them when I got the bill, because I spent about 40 minutes total in the hospital, and 30 minutes of those 40 were me waiting to get better food, because I said I was hungry, and they brought me. It took me 30 minutes to bring me that piece of bread and the piece of cheese on it, of American cheese. That wasn't even that good. So I finally said, I really am hungry. I got to go. And they said, you just got a concussion. You can't leave. You're not allowed. Like, what do you mean you're not allowed to leave? No. I'm going to Chipotle. Try and fucking stop me. So I left, a little bit dizzy because I got a concussion. And the bill was about, $4,500. And that's not including the ambulance. So I went back there and I said, listen, I don't have insurance. I'm not going to nickel and dime you. I'm not going to I'm not going to wait 6 months or a year to pay you. Is there any chance of me getting any discount, since I spent about 40 minutes in this hospital and 30 minutes of that was waiting for a sandwich, and the other 10 minutes was you putting a scan tool to my head? So I get it. Putting the scan tool thing into my head, that scan tool probably cost a bunch of money, and the person who operates it needs to be educated, and that costs him a bunch of money. So for the 10 minutes of service, how is like $1,500 sound? And I couldn't get anything. I couldn't get them to lower it by a dime. So even given that I was in the hospital for 10 minutes and the only thing that was performed on me was they put a scanny thing to my head to see if my head was bleeding, I forget what it's called, and then they looked at the picture on the screen, $1,500 was not enough. They really wanted that whole $4,000. And I said, I don't have insurance. I'm not going to take 6 months to pay you. I'm not going to nickel and dime you on everything. I did not spend the whole day here. Just like, I want to be a good citizen and pay my bill, but you're not fucking getting $4,500 from me. Get the fuck out of here. And that's the problem, is that what the insurance companies do is similar to the recording studio thing, where everything becomes really expensive because they're dealing with the insurance company, but then there's no discounts for, okay, listen, I don't have insurance. I'm not going to drive you people crazy. I'm not going to take 6 months to pay. I'm not going to do all this crap. Can I get a rate, I'm a normal person, not an asshole rate. And they don't do that. And that's a big part of the problem. So I am not a big fan of government being in charge of healthcare. I'm not a big fan of that. But I also completely recognize that the system that we have now is a giant scam. It's an absolute giant scam. As someone who worked in the insurance industry, I remember being an insurance salesperson in 2008. It makes me sick to even say that aloud, that I was an insurance salesperson. Can you imagine me as an insurance salesman, like going door to door trying to sell people on switching their healthcare? Or companies on switching their healthcare. But I have to go back to the office and I'd hear how the people talked at the office and I'd see what they were doing at the office, and my God, what a scam. It was a just absolute scam. It was a scam on top of a scam, in a scam, of a scam, big scam, just giant scam. Horrid. Absolutely horrid. You're gonna have to rewind, B-Kid. I'm not repeating that whole thing. Like, Obamacare was good in that it covered pre-existing conditions, so people that otherwise would have just, sorry, you get to go die now, are not going to die. but it also made it way more of a pain in the ass for doctors' offices and to do business, which then is going to increase the prices of a lot of shit even more. So that was like the worst. There was a little bit of the worst of both worlds with that. And I see where people are saying, you know, have the government deal with the whole thing. Like, if there's not a for sure, having a for-profit insurance person as your middleman is only going to increase the price. And as I've gone over in my insurance video, it's just a corrupt system through and through. 100%, it's a shit system. I really wish there was a way to just kind of return to a time where if you broke your arm and you went to the doctor, what your salary as a middle-class American is like, oh, that sucks, but oh well, I'll just do it. Instead of it being, oh, looks like I'm selling my house now, you know. But I don't know if there's a way to really rewind that. But yeah, I still don't. I don't like health insurance much. I'm not a fan of health insurance. You know, I didn't pay for it for a really long time, and my experience as a health insurance salesman is what made me never want to pay for health insurance. I'd rather just put the money in my bank account, pray that I don't get a heart attack until I'm old and, you know, rich, and all the money that I kind of imagine all the money that I would have spent on health insurance just going into an investment account and then getting saved up and used for something, and then hopefully when I actually do have a heart attack someday, I can just pay for it out of it. You know, hopefully the heart attack happens closer to 80 than it does to 30. But I can't like, put money into that scam and sleep at night. It's just can't do it. Can't do it. Seriously? Do these connectors not have the fucking pegs on them? I am going to kill that mofo. He's selling me the screen side connectors rather than the board side connectors. What a piece of... I realize the chance of rewinding back to the way shit was a long time ago is probably not going to happen in my lifetime. Yeah, usually these connectors have pegs under them, which makes it easier to get it aligned on the board, and for some reason these don't. Maybe it's because they've been out of production for a while or something. I get what the Medicare for All people are saying. What they're saying is, you're taking 40% of my salary. Then you're taking out property taxes when I purchase a place. Then you're taking out sales taxes when I buy an item. So, you know, if I'm going to pay all this money, I might as well get something for it. Because there's this old saying, you know, the whole, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, that JFK said. And, what I would probably say to that is, you're taking over 40% of my fucking money. Of course, I'm going to ask what you can do for me, you fucking bastard. You know, how much? Anybody who takes 40% of my money, you bet your ass I'm going to expect something from you. And don't tell me it's this whole schools on the road shit, because I ride on that fucking road every day. I know exactly how much that shit is worth. It ain't worth what you're charging for it. And I went to New York City public school. It was not worth what you are charged for it. Man. So I get what they're getting at. You know, they don't want to return to the old system where everything is super hyper affordable again. They would rather, they would just simply rather the government deal with it the same way as you would deal with fire or police or any of that stuff. And it makes sense. To a degree. I just have a genuine distrust of government based on all the times I've had to deal with any type of government bureaucracy, which causes me to dislike them intensely, or dislike the idea. But yeah, I get the whole concept of, well, you're taking 40% of my fucking money. Then you're taking money out of my house. You're taking money out of my sales tax. You take money out of payroll tax. You pretty much are taking money every which way you can. And all I get for it is a garbage education system with teachers that hate the students and roads that suck. In courts that are often unfair and ridiculous justice system to the point where lawyers will tell me it doesn't even make sense to even try to sue someone like Eugene, my ex-contractor. A legal system where when I try to get my money back in small claims court from my architect, I can't get a case heard for over 9 months. You know, it's like, what are you doing with my money? And you know, I know the answer to that. The U.S. is a Eugene-based healthcare system. It kind of does. I know what the answer to that is, you know. Corruption, useless, wasteful spending. Wasteful military spending. The Ponzi scheme of Social Security. Corruption. More corruption. It's sad. You know, there are other countries where when people get taxed, when it's time for them to pay their taxes, it's not awful. Like, they don't hate it as much. They hate it. They may dislike, you know, I got to pay taxes, but it's not like that gut-wrenching feeling that you get in America. And I think part of it is, in other countries, they're choosing what to do. They're choosing what programs they wish to fund. So the society will come together and say, this is what we want to do. This is what we think is worthwhile. And today's the day that we come together and then pay for it. Whereas here, what we want and what our taxes go to is so far apart. It's so separate that paying taxes is a day of mourning because you're taking, you know, 30 or 40% of your money and you're throwing it away, and you feel like you're throwing it away. So you have to ask yourself, like, why do you feel like taxes are a bad thing? Taxes are a bad thing because the money doesn't actually go to anything that you want it to go to, and it doesn't go to stuff that most normal, everyday people want it to go to. So, would translating the wiki be of interest to you? No, not really. The issue with the wiki is that there's still hundreds of videos that no one's gone through. I've gotten a lot of offers from a lot of people to do everything besides the actual work. Do you want help managing the wiki? I can change the formatting of the wiki. I can edit this part of the wiki. I can add citations and links. It's like the last thing that's actually going to get done on that wiki is people taking the videos and adding their content. I appreciate the offer. I realize that probably sounds salty, and it's not appropriate to put my salt on you. But I think I kind of poured some salt on you. My apologies for that. You know what's crazy is the military budget per year. But the New Jersey Pension Fund unfunded liabilities is something like half of what the military budget is, around there. Maybe 1/3. Still crazy. Neil, that is unfortunately not a job, because the wiki is not a form of income for me. So the wiki brings in $0. It's not even a form of advertising, because it's just literally just hope that it helps some people. Have some scam money. I work for a large phone insurance extended warranty company that owns your favorite national repair chain. I need a new job. Why don't you start fixing stuff wherever you are and get the fuck out of the place that you're in now? I believe you can do it. I believe in you. Unless you saw it, unless you did what I just did. Thank God that's off camera, actually. Yeah, that was pretty cool that was off camera. You couldn't see the stupid thing I did. Robert T., declaring war is really a formality, you know? It's like saying, hi, how are you, before you actually get to the point, you know? It's like, who really... everybody does it, but you could easily just kind of not do it and nobody would really care. That's kind of what declaring war is. It's just a formality. We do away with formalities here. We believe them to be wastes of time. Get rid of that British way of doing things, where they put fucking hidden vowels in words like color, favor. We get rid of the bullshit vowels, and we get rid of the formalities. America. America! I think that person shouldn't be a professor, Ravalevi. Sounds like a shit professor, in my opinion. See, you see that attitude, that attitude that you just said, that's the attitude of someone that, it's like those people that say, you know, I would love to be a teacher if not for the students. Those people are the scum of the earth. Oh, I'd love to be a teacher, I just hate it. It's great except for the students. You know the people that used to joke about that in school? Like, screw those people, seriously. If you hate what you do, then get a different fucking job. I like what I do. I don't like the people that go to great lengths to keep me from doing what I'm doing, but I like the ability to help my customers. I like the puzzle solving. I enjoy what I do. But I miss Rossman Real Estate. You know, people lost interest in Rossman Real Estate. I honestly don't know what the hell people who watch this channel find interesting, to be quite frank. I really have no fucking idea. Not the slightest clue. Remember, this board does turn on, but just because it turns on does not mean that we're even close to done. You don't want to leave components in the board that look like shit, or else it'll die again. And you could check on the wiki at wiki2.rossmangroup.com. You'll be able to see where I go over visual inspection and how to tell which component should or should not be replaced. What V is a son of a fucking... What V is should or should not be replaced. All that good stuff. I forget which resistor is supposed to go on which side. Sukablet. You freaking piece of... You fucking... There we go. For jizzed on board, says Joe. For jizzed on boards. Thank you. I'm glad that when you think of me, you think of jizz. Buy an M1 Mac and rant about it. People will watch it. The thing is, they would. I know people keep asking for that and they watch it, but I don't want to do it. I have no passion there. There's nothing that would be about doing that would be exciting to me. And it would be a video for the sake of a video. Like, one thing I could say right now is that when I do a video, it's because I actually have something on my mind that really, you know, this channel really, for the lack of a better way to put it, is just kind of the, you know, the documentary of my life. You know, what am I doing that day? What am I thinking that day? What bothered me? What came up that I thought was worth discussing or whatever? You know, do it anytime the video feels like work or like I'm clocking in to do it. It's just, it's not going to be fun. And I don't think anybody's going to want to watch that shit. I'm more left in my politics, but I always appreciate your commentary. If the government budget is so big, I'd rather it not be spent bombing people in illegal wars. We could do a lot of good if we wanted. I agree with you there. Again, I don't really get the whole, like, increasing the military budget over and over and over and over and over again. And the typically, you know, the right-wing view of, well, how are we going to pay for that? You really do kind of lose the authority to say that when you keep going into debt to bomb people. You know? You don't have to bomb everyone. Bombing everyone is not necessary. Thank you, Robert. How about more cockroaches? They were popular. Yeah, the cockroaches were popular. I remember doing a board repair video right near the time that I did the cockroach video. I shit you not, the cockroach video got more views than the fucking board repair. Like, stuff like that, it really just... man, if you needed more discouragement from going into recording stuff on YouTube, see how well you do versus a goddamn cockroach. It's been a while. Also, I'm planning on upgrading my headphones batteries to a higher milliamp-hour one. Should I worry about current overload or no? Depends on what battery you're getting. Obviously, make sure that the batteries you're getting have the ability to put out as much, if not more, current than the existing one. And if you don't know what it is, then it may not be the best idea to do that. You know? I think there's a place somewhere on the political spectrum for people who lean right but really, really don't feel like spending money bombing other countries. I think that's there somewhere. Yeah, James Fox, that's something where I've just I'm not following any of that shit, you know. Like, I realize that I'm likely a little bit too far to the right to have the average politics of the average New Yorker. And I think to myself, well, if I went to this area, then I'd meet less ideologically possessed people. But then if I go to that area, then what happens is I'm going to meet a bunch of people that think that Trump won the election by millions and millions of votes, regardless of the fact that he's presented horrible evidence to the contrary. And then I'm just going to go, fuck me, there's no escape. Like, there really is no escape from that. Same voltage range, same functions, just higher capacity. Well, you answered your own question there, then. So in that case, I believe you answered your own question. So now I'm assuming you gave an honest answer to your question. If you honestly answered your question, then sure. I don't know what I am, honestly. When I wind up discussing things with people in New York, I horrify them. And then when I wind up discussing things with people, let's say if I visit Nebraska or Tennessee, I horrify them. So I kind of think I don't know if I lean anything. I think I just lean towards aggravating people. Sadly. It's not my intention. It's just the reality. It's the way it works out. Now, Bike Apocalypse wasn't the highest view. There were other things. My ex-girlfriend was from Pakistan. The horror stories of U.S. bombings that ruin normal people's lives are too common. At some point, you're creating the problems. That's a big reason that I voted Ron Paul in 2008 and 2012, is because I felt like one of my highest priorities politically was we can kind of discuss everything that we disagree with, and we can work everything out once we stop wasting hundreds of millions of dollars destroying other people's lives. That's what I thought. So I figured everything else, like, What do you do with healthcare? What do you do with taxation? What do you do with all that stuff? Like, we can argue that stuff once everybody stops getting killed for asinine reasons. That was my thinking politically. And I kind of realized that there's not much place in the modern political dialogue for those individuals to have any chance of winning. So there's that, and then I kind of got sad and depressed and tired of politics. Yeah, 2008 and 2012 showed me that that really did not have much of a chance. Because I saw the voter turnout and I saw like how many votes the candidates that espoused views similar to that got. And it just kind of made me sad. Let me open up a schematic and a board view for this because I need to figure out which cap I need there. But you do more videos about investing. Your old ones are really on point and helped me to get into this and make really good profits. Hopefully you didn't hold Rail, because I remember saying to buy Rail in that video, and listen, it was good advice at the time. When I made that video, Rail went from 12 bucks to 20, all the way up until it went down to $1. You know, it's because I didn't hold. But okay, now I see which cap I gotta put there. At least Trump is far more in tone anyway, like Ron Paul, than others. I don't know. He doesn't... Like, I mean, the thing about that is, you know, Ron Paul appeared to... I don't think part of Ron Paul's agenda was let's increase the military budget by a few billion dollars, a few $100 billion. That didn't appear to be a part of Mr. Paul's platform. No! Get back here! You little capacitor! Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go, you little bastard? Get the fuck back here. You're not leaving my board. No. Not again. Not again. No. 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 You're going on a MacBook. You're going on a MacBook. You're going to live on a MacBook for the rest of your life, capacitor. That's it. That's where you go. That's where you live. That's where you stay. Now fucking deal with it. That little capacitor did not want to be on a MacBook, and I wasn't hearing a goddamn word of it. You're going to live on that MacBook until the day you die. Alright. Freaking capacitor on a MacBook thinking that it can run from me. That capacitor really did make a run for it. It did not want to live its life inside of a MacBook. It did not want to live inside of a MacBook, and I just tossed it right back in. Kicking and screaming, baby. Take it. Rossman talking to MacBook components now sounds like Cuomo talking to New York citizens. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Do you think the fight for right to repair is hurt by the pandemic, or is right to repair too much of a niche issue in the eye of the public? The right to repair is not going to happen for a while here, at least in the United States. We got too much. The thing is, right to repair is always in line. You know, it's in line behind... It's in line behind immigration, abortion, taxation, antitrust law, culture war shit. There's always a bunch of culture war shit. You can't forget that. And there's even before, right to repair was really a niche issue because it's not the issue that's going to get you the votes in whatever area you're in. And now, I mean, people have to debate how they're going to deal with you have to pay your rent and your property taxes and all that next year, but you're not allowed to work. Or you weren't allowed to work for a year, and you got $1,200, and now you got to pay for everything. How's that going to work? How are you going to solve that issue? That's what's on people's mind, not my cell phone won't charge and the manufacturer won't help me. But that's the way people see it. It's such an off-kilter issue that it's just not something that is really going to get much attention here for a while. And also the fact that I can't go to legislatures at all right now is obviously a big one in the negative pile. Doing some late work for my business. Sorry I couldn't help you with Magento Store. Keep up the great work. By the way, I'll ask my employees to help you with the wiki list. Thank you very much, Mr. Griffin. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wow. See this little resistor over here that was hiding? This would have caused this machine to die at some point. Actually, I take it back. That resistor looked black and burned, but that's because it had a piece of sticky juice on top of it. The actual resistor under it is fine. That's my bad. My bad. I noticed something that didn't actually matter. That was my fault, and I got trolled by it, and, oh well. We're just going to make sure the solder joints in that area are okay. Remember, every time you say solder, you need to say it without pronouncing it with the L. Anybody who pronounces the L in solder is getting banned from my chat. And I'll know. I'll know. The thing that really goes against right to repair at the moment is honestly, like when I read a lot of the comments that I get on Reddit, there will be people that dislike me as a human being, and then they will advocate against right to repair as an issue because they dislike me as a human. Which is an ultimate failing. That's the thing. I've never really asked to be the face of right to repair. I never wanted to be the face of right to repair. I'm just a jackass that owns a business, that talks about his daily life, and people for some reason decide to watch it. It's not like I was trying to get, paying for promotion so that I could get the front page of the New York Times or some shit, or was paying a PR firm or anything like that, or doing crazy stunts. I have a boring-ass YouTube channel where I fix MacBooks and I discuss what I think. And I think I'm a fundamentally unlikable person. And the problem is that my unlikability then damages right to repair. And this is something I notice with a lot of activist issues. And I notice it because it's been something that's affected me, where I've been on the other side of it, where I'll see someone advocating for something, I'll recognize that they seem like a fundamentally unlikable human being, and then I'll kind of brush off the issue they're discussing because I dislike the individual that's posting it. And I try to check myself on that, but I'm human. I can't help the fact that this is how I and many other people are. But yeah, that's one of the failings, is that there's a lot of people out there that just they despise me as a human. So even if I'm advocating for something that would actually help them, just some basic shit like, hey, if this charge chip stops being, could you allow Texas Instruments to sell a CD3217 so if a machine stops charging, I can fix it? Even if you don't like me, so a shop in your town can fix it so that you can get the data off of your computer, or so that you can fix it instead of having to spend $1,500 to $2,000 at Apple when your Apple Care is up and all that. That's something, that would actually help them. But it's, they find a reason to dislike what I'm advocating for because they dislike me, and that's the motivator. There's a lot of that in modern day politics, I don't think a lot of people that support Trump actually support him because of, I don't think they're reading his fucking policy, his decisions on policy and all that, because a lot of his policy is kind of just made up as he goes along. It's not this over-intellectualized thing. It's just dislike of the people that dislike him. So the people that dislike Trump are people that they dislike themselves. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. I don't think a lot of people would be open to admitting that. I don't think people would admit that readily, even though that is the reason a lot of people do vote the way that they vote. The enemy of my enemy, well, you know, I'll take that. But I think that there's a lot of that. I don't know how to be a more likable human being, though. I figured if I had a way to be a more likable human being, or if I had the capability in me to be a more likable person so that I could be a better activist, I probably would have figured it out before I turned 32. But making it to 32 and still being a cynical, jaded New York prick, it's probably not going to happen. The likelihood of that happening is fairly low. So I got to make do with what I have. But then there's the flip side of that. There's the flip side of that, which is, what if, there's this one person I remember talking about right to repair advocacy and stuff that I had gotten wrong and stuff I could have done differently. And then I looked at the way he was doing his advocacy. Nice guy, skilled guy, nice human being. 12 views on YouTube. Over the course of 2.5 years, 12 views on YouTube. 12 views. 12. 1, 2. So, it's just... I don't know, maybe being an asshole is the reason that it actually got attention. It's not like I was putting an effort to be an asshole. I was born that way. Just kind of born that way. This is a really difficult area to get in there. See you later, Tarman. Hope you have a good day. Can I refurbish this? Thank you, Mario. I try. People should have ideas. Ideas should never have people. Yeah, I'm not going to try to fix this resistor. Screw that. Get out of here, you dirty bum. You dirty bum. This is such an annoying area to try and get into over here. Surrounded by caps on every side. Yes, Thomas, but I don't recommend it because the post office will probably lose it and you'll be mad after they lose it. Dear God. Oh. Fucking piece of shit. So dirty. So dirty! What a bum. This board is a bum. Scrape away the shit. Nah, this all should just get swapped. I'm gonna take this board and toss it in a dishwasher. Maybe toss it in a sewer. The desire for quality. Once this board is fixed, it is not coming back. Once this board gets fixed, it's out of here for good. saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. Imagining the store is going better. It's better than it was a few months ago. I am. For the person asking if viewers sent their board in and if the terms and conditions were fair, I've had viewers send stuff in. I honestly prefer when it's non-viewers that send stuff in. This job, in many ways I like what I do, but at the same time, this job really is giving people bad news on a regular basis. So let's say somebody sends something in with liquid damage and it was near the SSD, and then like it works, and then you're done with it, and then it dies. You would kind of have to explain to that person, yeah, your SSD worked, but it was liquid damage, so it died. Sorry, it's not what you thought it was. It's a really shitty job because you're constantly giving people bad news, and you don't want to give bad news to people that you like. So like if somebody has been watching this channel for a few years and they finally send something in, they have these great expectations because they feel like there's this bond, like this person's going to do the greatest job ever. He's not going to screw me. And it's not really me screwing you, I'm just the messenger, and me being the and like giving a shitty message, it's really, sometimes they believe that you're screwing them, not that you're just giving them a shitty message, and it sucks. Like, you don't want to give bad news to people that you know. It's awful. Like, our job really is to mostly give people bad news all day. Hey, I know you thought it was the screen cable, it's actually the screen. Hey, I know you thought it was this little capacitor, it's actually the GPU, and we can't buy that anymore. Hey, I know you thought this was an easy fix, but it's actually something that's going to cost $300 and your computer's not worth more than $200 anymore. Pretty much this job is giving people bad news all the time, all day long. Or the worst is when it's just not economically viable to fix. They go, what do you mean? Well, I can't make any money off you, so you have to go away. Well, I mean, you don't say that. You have to explain it in a way that's nice. Your device is worth $150. It's going to take me 4 hours to figure it out, and plus parts, and no. It kind of makes me sad when I have to let someone down who says that they've been a viewer for a long time, and they've been watching, and they love the show, and then like they send something in, and I have to give them the reality. Sorry. This is a destroyed, corroded piece of shit, and I can't help you. Like, delivering bad news to people I don't know or have a connection with is, you know, it's like I've become desensitized at this point where I could just do it all day long. Delivering bad news to people that look up to you in some way, oh, that sucks. That hurts. That hurts. That hits me right in the stomach every time. Especially the data recovery stuff. Did you guys know? Apparently Drive Savers has a grief counselor. So they actually have a grief counselor doing their customer service. So like, you know, you can't get... What do you mean you can't get my data? I tell people, like, when people ask, you know, say they want more information or all this other stuff and I can't really give it to you or I can't spend a bunch of time on the phone, I'll actually tell them, like, I apologize. I'm not a social human being. You know, Drive Savers is about $5,000 for this recovery. That here is about $700 because they have a grief counselor. Like, here, you don't get a grief counselor. You just get some, you know, socially awkward, semi-Asperger's New York prick. So, like, do you want to fix it or no? I suck. I can't do it. But apparently Drive Savers has a fucking grief counselor. They have but that's the thing. Their prices are high enough that when they tell you what the price is, you have a grief counselor delivering the news. Like, they need a grief counselor to tell you, hey, I know you thought it was only the charge port wrong with your phone, but it's going to be $2,000. And, you know, there's a good chance it probably is just the fucking charge port that's bad with your phone. When you need a grief counselor to give your prices, man, that says something. But maybe it's smart. Maybe they know more than I do. Isn't Cam a grief counselor? No, Cam causes grief. You have that mixed up. You must be thinking... Alright, I think this board may just be close to ready for the wash. Maybe not. Never mind. Got a little bit of... I'm not letting the board leave if there's a chance that it's not going to work. I'm going to make sure that this thing gets a nice look over and nothing stays on here that's going to cause it to fail and come back. This is one of the big things that winds up tripping up people that wind up getting let go, is missing corrosion. Leaving corroded components on the board and calling the board fixed is probably the #1 cause for new people getting axed. Goggle my balls, Remdog Cat. Having the standards that I do has probably caused me to be perceived as an asshole to many people that I've tried to hire. The thing is, like, it's hard to hire in this industry because you have to. There's learning on the job, because this is a job where it's really unlikely that you'll have this very specific experience. But there's also a curve, so I need to see what your learning curve is. Like, how quickly do you adapt? And if I see how quickly you adapt over a course of 2 days, then I could probably get an idea of how you're going to adapt over 6 months. You know, like, there's a curve. Let's say week 1 you're here, week 2 you're here, and I need you to be here. That means that you'll probably be there by week 16 or something, which means 4 months, which I can't do. But if you're here, and I need you to be here, and then on week 2 you're here, week 3 you're there, then I know I can keep you on. But if I see that your improvement from week 1 and week 2 is this, then I can let you go on week 1, even if there's that whole idea of, well, you know, there's the idea, well, you know, I'm learning, I'm still learning. I'm still working on it. It's like, yeah, I know, but you're only going to get marginally better over time. You're not. But I really do torture people with this. I don't want stuff leaving that has marks of corrosion or anything. You know, this isn't a Genius bar. We see corrosion here, and the moment you see it, you got to do something about it. Speaking of, this actually would be a good one for the wiki. See, can anybody find the corroded point over here? Most corroded? Let's see if you see it. I hope you do. Hope you do. Yep. Ah, my light came off. Whoever said top left is fired. Twitch chat is fired. This is not corrosion. That is of filling material. You missed the green stuff right over here, and the resistors with black sides in favor of the filling material that not only is good, but is there to protect the components. So Twitch just got fired. Twitch BTFO. YouTube chat for the win today. That's still good. Unfair. You sound like my employees now. You just lost 6 viewers. I didn't lose 6 viewers. I didn't lose 6 viewers. I fired 6 viewers. Get it right. They're out of here. You're fired. In the words of our president, that never actually says it but only tweets it because he's afraid to say it if he's not on television and it's staged. You're fired! I think that could be the real red pill for Trump. With Trump, I genuinely believe he doesn't like firing people, like in person. That he doesn't actually like it. There's a lot of people that don't like firing people. It's not always the pleasant thing to do. It's really rare that firing someone is actually pleasant. And if firing someone is pleasant, you probably let it last way longer than it should have in the first place. I don't think Trump likes firing people. Like doing it in person. If I send in a laptop, will it be featured on YouTube? The chances are low. So there's, let's see. There's Camille, Anel, Chris, Dan, Paul, David, John, me, and I stream. So I only stream a quarter of what I do, maybe like a fifth of what I do, and there's probably 8 people working on the board. So the chances are fairly slim. They slim. Might get other people here to start streaming stuff. Get rid of that old solder. The old stuff is going to get sucked up into my solder ball and then wicked away. Everybody say hello to Dr. Evil Genius. How are you doing? He just said hi to himself. This is one disgusting effing board. I don't know where I go from here. If Apple like finally starts designing these to be liquid resistant or something. Like, what job could I get after doing this? Janitor? Probably gonna wind up as a janitor at Whole Foods. This is very much janitorial work. Or a car washer. I could see myself as a car washer. Probably a car washer. Nothing that I know of, Edie. Maybe they're anticipating the tariffs going away or something. Another one. Damn it. Jesus Christ. Fix e-bikes. You know, I don't think I have, I think my credibility there may have been minorly damaged from my venture in AliExpress batteries. I can't even get Dr. Evil Genius to try my bike. And he's known me for 3 years. How the hell am I going to get other people to try my bikes? Oh, the day I can get Dr. Evil Genius to try one of my bikes is the day that I will consider selling them as a job. Or fixing them as a job. See, Dr. Evil Genius says he's risk averse, but that's the thing. Language is what's telling. He classifies riding on a device I put together as a risk. That says it all. Lewis could get into the contractor business. No, I don't think I'd be good at that. E-bikes are perfect to fix because if you fuck up, there's a good chance the customer won't be alive to complain. Only for Unipack Power. May Erica, your cats, and coworkers have a wonderful last week in November. Thank you very much, Snake. I appreciate that. I will try to have a good last week in November. I use a Xiaomi M365 battery in my e-bike. I don't know Xiaomi made batteries. I have this 2013 Earth, Wind & Fire album stuck in my head. It's really good. It's really amazing because they were around for over 40 years and the music quality didn't go down. It's not like they ran out of ideas and you can clearly tell that they're just making shit up just to have an album. It's phenomenal how good that 2013 Earth, Wind & Fire album is. Thank you, Dana. Lewis gets a job at Lenovo. Yeah, I don't think so. Lenovo has provided or spoken with or collaborated with several influencers, and I am not one of them. I'm not on that list, and I never will be. Because I told the truth about the Retro. I told the truth about the T440, and that ensures that the Retro really did it for me. The Retro did me in. Lenovo is never using me as for that. Okay. I'm pretty sure at this point that I've cleaned all the nasty shit off of this board. So I want to see if first thing I want to do is I just want to see if it works before I do a cleaning. And then after that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to clean it in the ultrasonic, and we will go from there. Use Twitch for testing instead of YouTube chat. Don't delay. Donate today. Thank you, Zyme. That's gross. Broken MacBook parts. Ew. Gross. I have a Euroraw 48 volt 21 amp hour bat. Shorted out. Charging. What do you mean shorted out? I think people use the word short too often. What do you mean shorted out charging? Like short is kind of a all-use word for I have something that doesn't work, that uses electricity. It's a scooter that uses LG batteries. It's not going to go boom. Well, if it doesn't go boom, it probably doesn't go fast enough. I want to go out with a bang or a boom. Okay. That screen cable has seen better days. Then again, so has the rest of this freaking laptop. This Wi-Fi card looks like shit. They should get a new Wi-Fi card. It's a scooter that uses LG batteries. It's not going to go boom. Lewis, do you like your Atten? I am using the Quick still, honestly. I'm not using the Atten. It's not because I don't like the Atten. It's just I have a Quick, and I'm going to use it until it is into the ground. The new people who start working here get Attens on their desk, not Quicks, because I don't use Quicks anymore. They're pretty indistinguishable. I mean, you know, the Atten has a button on the handpiece that the Quick doesn't, and the Atten is mildly quieter. But like other than that, it's really not that. It's not this night and day thing. It's not a night and day difference between the two. It's mostly the same shit. It's just the Atten's way cheaper. So I'm probably gonna keep using this Quick until I kill it. All right, have you had any major problems with the 2020 MacBook Pro? I don't know. Again, I don't get the stuff into repair until it's usually a few years old, so I can't answer that question. I don't have a schematic for it. I don't have CD3217s for it. I don't have anything for it. So honestly, if you brought me it to fix, there's a good chance I'd be sending you away with a bad answer because I don't have the parts that I need to work on them. All right, so. Hey, we got a question mark folder. So we got an image. Yeah, this thing kind of looks like shit, though. The whole machine kind of looks like shit. All right, so this is what this board is going to look like after the ultrasonic cleaning process. So when I ultrasonically clean the board, first thing I do is I heat all the fluxy areas up of the board, because when the flux is caked together, it doesn't come off in the cleaner as well as it does when it is not super caked together. So the next thing I do, put it in the cleaner, Branson EC, and distilled water. I leave it in the cleaner for about 2 minutes per side. After that, I put it into a Tupperware container filled with 99% alcohol. I remove it from the Tupperware container with the 99% alcohol, and I spray it a bunch. After I spray it a bunch, then it goes into another ultrasonic cleaner, which is 99% isopropyl alcohol only, no heat. The Branson EC is and the water is heated. The alcohol ultrasonic cleaner is not. After that, it goes into an oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, and this is the result of it. It really does clean up a lot of the crap on the board. So let's get the light going, get Mike, and let's get this in focus. So this screen connector was, yeah, there you go. One of those pins was short, but is what it is. It's the screen side connector that I got. I don't know if I'm still able to buy the board side LCD connectors. I'll have to check with the vendor on that, but that's not going to cause any issues whatsoever there. This is the nasty area around the backlight circuit. Let me just adjust the exposure a little. There we go. PP3V42 area. And this is, yeah, nice, happy little ultrasonicking. You know, it just... Now, this is a board that I'm not ashamed to have on my desk anymore, because it no longer looks like a steaming pile of shit. This board will last into the future, and it will be a happy little MacBook. It's funny, there's still little bits of dirt on it even after all the cleaning that it went through. But this board was absolutely, utterly filthy and disgusting. But I'm pretty sure that I got every corroded section and every corroded point. And the really important thing here is to make sure you catch all the stuff that's corroded. Again, I have a guide on how to on this on the wiki. So this is something that I've been contributing to. It's my little pet project. At some point, once I have this idea for a repair organization that is just pretty much dedicated to just right to repair advocacy and helping teach people how to fix things. Once that is properly funded at some point, I'm going to probably go full scale with this. But for now, I'm just putting a hobby's amount of effort into it. This is a visual inspection guide for board repairs, and the idea here is to teach all of you how to have the same eye that I do and find every single little thing that's even mildly corroded. Like all the stuff that's going to make the machine fail again, all the little hiding corrosion and green shit that you can barely see, all of the, like, you know, I want you to be able to see all this stuff so that even when you have a board that's this disgusting, that not only do you have the solution how to fix it, but you can see the stuff about just as well as I can here. And that is really my goal. It's one thing to start a business and become successful in a field on your own, but there's something much more difficult in trying to come up with a framework that allows other people to be able to follow in your footsteps and be able to get up to speed the way you have. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this wiki. I want to make it as easy as humanly possible for repair shops that are in this field that think that board repair is beyond them and something they'll just never be able to do, to be something that they're not only able to do, but able to do to a very good standard of quality, so that the argument can no longer be made that there's no standards in this business and there's no framework for anything, and it's just a wild west of people that don't care and don't know anything. You know, the more knowledge you put out there, the more likely it is other people will be able to replicate the success that we've had here, and that is my goal. And I hope to be able to continue doing that and also demonstrating it on stuff that just looks like totally corroded piles of shit. Because again, this thing was a completely corroded pile of shit, but now it actually looks kind of good. So that's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I will see you all in the next video. Bye now.